to another episode of Fill Your Life with Spice. I'm your host, Andrea. Today I have a very special guest. Is my beloved Kirthana. She is my beautiful girlfriend. Introduce yourself. Tell us how you doing today.
I'm doing all right. It's very chilly in here, so I'm quite cold, but other than that, I'm doing really well.
That's great. If you might be noticing, I am not in my living room. I am not in my studio apartment today. We are currently filming in, what is this, Arrowbear?
Live from Arrowbear Lake.
Yes, that is
not live though.
It's not live, but pretend like it's live, you know? I feel like the setup right now feels pretty legit. It feels like an actual studio right now. And last time, well, if you saw the episode from last week, then you probably saw that there were some issues with the lighting towards the end of the video. I don't know if you noticed it. Okay, well, Emmy and I filmed towards the end of the day, so we experienced sunset, and, you know, the lighting was an issue, so I decided to wait until it was dark at night so I could just fix the lighting myself. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. How do you feel?
Pretty good. We got this sick record player in the background.
Yeah.
Very cool. There's disco balls. I don't know if you can see in the frame.
No, you can't really see them, but you can see
there.
Yeah, you can see like vinyls in the back. That most of them are empty, which is so funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad though. It's funny, but it's also sad because, you know, I paid a decent amount for this Airbnb, and I would at least expect that they would have full records. But that's besides the point. So for today, I had a very interesting topic, and I wanted to bring you in because, one, you're my girlfriend and I love you, and two, you know, I think out of all the people that I've brought into the podcast before, I think you're like the first vegan person that I've brought in.
Okay.
And like environmental activist that I've brought on. So I'm excited to hear your takes on some things. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kirthana. I'm a fourth year student at UCLA. I'm a microbiology major with a minor in conservation biology, and I'm very interested in sustainability. I always have been. I'm from Houston, Texas, which is apparently off-limit topic, but not to me. Not to me. I don't know. What else should I say?
No, I think that was a pretty good introduction.
I've been vegan for 2 years. That's pretty important, I guess.
Oh, 2 years now, huh?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. I just kind of assumed that you've always been vegan. And when it comes to like my timeline, it's like, no, like she's always been vegan. Like I cannot imagine you eating meat. That's so weird. Or like having dairy.
True.
So 2 years being vegan, and you were vegetarian for how
long? Let's see. Sophomore year of high school, which would be 2018 maybe. So Yeah, 2018. So 6 years since my vegetarian journey began.
Interesting. So we've talked a little bit about this, and I've been asking like people around, and well, you and I have seen this more lately, but if you guys are not familiar, or you guys are not even vegetarian, I'm letting you know. LA is like the top vegan-friendly city in the States. Is that what it is?
Competing with New York, but it's up there for sure.
New York and San Francisco, right?
Yeah, but you know, LA is bigger, so just
true. So one of the most like vegan-friendly cities in the U.S. or in the world. Let's just say in the world, because that would be accurate. So lately, vegan restaurants, plant-based restaurants, and vegetarian restaurants have been adding meat to their menus. And, you know, for most part, like, yes, I understand where they're coming from, because most of them have been very transparent, and they've said, you know what, like, it's just straight up, like, we do not have the money. We cannot afford to be fully plant-based, because, yes, being vegan, would you say it's a luxury?
That's a really interesting question, because I feel like a lot of people think that being vegan is really expensive. And I think there is like an aspect of privilege. Like I am very privileged to be vegan, but also I honestly feel like me, I really hate spending money, and I feel like I don't actually spend that much money on groceries, because it's just like vegetables and stuff, right? It's like, meat is honestly really expensive, and like processed vegan foods are really expensive, like cheese and stuff. But if you don't necessarily buy like a bunch of meat replacements and you focus on having a really plant-forward diet, I actually don't think it's very expensive or a luxury, really.
Do you eat a lot of meat replacements?
Honestly, because they're kind of expensive, I don't tend to buy them that much, but I do sometimes, just to keep my protein intake normal, just adding like Impossible meatballs into pasta or whatever. Like I do that sometimes, but I'd say a lot of my protein is mostly like tofu and beans and stuff like that.
That's interesting. So I've had your tofu, whatever you make, but what the fuck is tofu? Like,
it's like fermented soybeans. Yeah, okay. It's like basically if you like curdled soy milk and then like pressed it, that's what tofu is.
So you can make pretty much anything with tofu.
You can make a lot of things with tofu.
What's your favorite thing to make with tofu?
I don't know. I really love like a good fried rice. Just like very, we keep it simple, just like saute up some tofu with some veggies, some soy sauce.
Which is what we were supposed to do.
True.
So the reason why we're not in my small studio apartment in Los Angeles is because we are celebrating our 1 year of union, of friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship, of course. So we're at an Airbnb, and we decided that we were gonna pretty much split groceries. And I think for the most part, the part that's funny is the things that we really, really needed are things that I got from my own apartment, because we had this menu that we planned for, I want to say like a week, and we were very much looking forward to it. It was very strictly planned, and we're close to Big Bear. Like, it's a good 2 hours from Los Angeles, and we were unloading everything. We packed an entire cooler with veggies, meat replacements, Venezuelan food and drinks that I actually wanted to have for the podcast today. And we were unloading everything at the Airbnb last night, and I could not find the cooler. And I was like so confused, because obviously I know that I didn't bring it, but it was like 11 p.m. and I was like, babe, where's the cooler? It's just the cooler's in my apartment. It's fully there. The part that gets me the most is that there was frozen stuff in there, for sure. Like, and no one has a key to my apartment right now, so that is just kind of rotting in my living room, in my kitchen. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's rotting. I mean, it's only like 2 days. Like, I think it'll be okay.
Sure. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But
it's neither of our faults. Nobody's to blame, except maybe both of us.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, what are we gonna eat?
Yeah.
Because we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's no like actual grocery stores. It's just like, I mean, I'm sure there are, but I think they're pretty expensive. I wouldn't want to shop here.
But one thing about me, I know how to adapt to difficult circumstances. It's one of my strong suits. That's what I say in interviews.
Especially when it comes to spending money on food.
Yeah, I'm not about to do that.
Which is so funny, because didn't you order takeout yesterday?
Not important.
It is so important, because there was so many options. You could have
Actually, it is very relevant, because the reason I ordered takeout is to support small vegan businesses, which is kind of...
Oh, you're so
I'm being so for real right now. I'm being so for real, which is literally the entire topic of our conversation.
Sure. Let's get back to topic, I guess, because you want to avoid the fact that you spent money on takeout. Yeah. Sure. So I wanted to pick your brain on this specific interview. So we've been to this restaurant in LA. It used to be called Sage Plant-Based Brewing and Bistro, and now the owner is, switching to regenerative farming. Is that what she called it?
Yeah, it wasn't actually fully vegan before. I think it was like vegan and vegetarian, but like pretty heavily plant-based focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, now they're transitioning to a more regenerative agriculture approach to their food and like their sourcing of their ingredients, which to them involves like adding meat to the menu, which is really interesting. And there's like all these articles about it and other vegan businesses that are transitioning to meat.
But, again, like, back to my point, like, I understand, most businesses claim that it's not affordable, it's not sustainable to be fully a plant-based restaurant because like, when we go out to eat, it's pretty expensive. Like, vegan food, vegan restaurants are pretty pricey. So the average vegan is not out and about, like, spending money on takeout every single day. So I can understand, like, obviously why a business would not be sustainable and would not be profitable. But the owner's answer as to why they're transitioning was it's better for the environment, it's better for our health, and it's better for the animals, which that's the part that really got to me, because as someone who is not vegan, I think it's an insane thing to say that adding meat to your menu is better for the animals when you're literally killing animals. So I don't know, like, we've talked about this, but what do you think is the logic behind that?
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, regenerative farming is like sort of this idea of conducting agricultural practices in a way that is replenishing to the environment instead of like taking away from the environment. So generally, like industrial agriculture, the way it works is that they plant a crop on a piece of land, and it's extremely extractive. Like they plant that same crop over and over again, and all of the nutrients in the soil eventually are just depleted, and so then they replenish that with a ton of fertilizers, which eventually end up like polluting and going into waterways and polluting the environment downstream. So the idea behind regenerative agriculture is to sort of approach it with a focus on actually like replenishing the soil. So this could include things like planting legumes, which are really good at like fixing nitrogen back into the soil, so that you don't have to like actually add nitrogen fertilizer. I'm not totally sure how like regenerative animal agriculture works, and like from my experience and from my research, like I don't really see that. I don't see a way for animal agriculture to truly ever be sustainable. But the idea, or what I kind of think maybe the idea behind Sage and their transition to regenerative farming is like, in a perfect world, the most sustainable way of getting our food is local, right? Like community gardens and like minimizing the transport as much as possible, minimizing the amount of processing that your food actually goes through, and like things like regenerative agriculture, which incorporate all of those different elements. So we were kind of talking about this last night, but I think what she means when she says it's better for the animals is that like it has a sort of like whole ecosystem benefit in that it's not like I don't know, like it's like nurturing this ecosystem and ensuring that like all of these native species and plants and animals are able to thrive, even though they're technically killing like I don't actually know what kind of meat they're adding to their menu. I haven't really like looked into that video that they posted on their Instagram, but like say they're adding beef to their menu. Like I'm assuming their idea is that like the killing of the cows is negated by the ecosystem benefits that they get in the end, because things like soybeans, which are used a lot in vegan products, they generally come from industrial agriculture and are, like I said, extremely extractive from the environment and generally cause a lot of habitat destruction. So I think that's their idea behind it, but like you were mentioning earlier, I feel like they're not truly being transparent with the fact that the idea or like the real motivation behind making the switch is not necessarily sustainability, it's money. But it's like, when a lot of times when people say stuff like that, it's like, oh, they're like money hungry, they're greedy. But that's really complicated when you're talking about like vegan businesses in LA, because it's like the market is so oversaturated and demand is so low at the same time. Like, and like you said, like vegan products or like vegan restaurants specifically are pretty expensive. It's like I, as a vegan, genuinely do want to support vegan small businesses. Like, I wasn't joking about that. But it's like, I'm just one person and I can't be spending like $25 on vegan takeout every single day. Like, no matter how much I want to actually support these places, it's just not like physically possible for me. So I think that's a problem that a lot of vegan businesses in LA are encountering right now. They just are not getting the business they need to be profitable, regardless of the fact that LA is one of the most vegan cities in the world. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just such an interesting topic, because I feel like, especially with Sage, like I just, that's the part that got me. It's the part where they're fully claiming that it's better for the animals. And I was reading a little bit into it, and you know, Chef Molly, that's the owner, she was saying in an interview how basically her husband owns a farm, and, you know, he grew up in a farm back in Mexico, and he would pretty much like pray for his meals, like hunt his meals pretty much. And this is a switch, this is a transformation that he had been trying to push onto her for a long time, because, you know, it's just like, it's the way that it's meant to be, or, you know, at least that's how he feels. But I don't think it's, I don't think it aligns. Like, I just don't think the math is mathing. And again, I just think it's a goofy argument.
Yeah, no, I actually didn't get back to my point that I was trying to come to, which is that, like, so yeah, in a perfect world, I do think it's like we would be growing all our own vegetables, like people would keep chickens in their backyard, like whatever, and that would be like the most sustainable way of living. But in the world that we live in right now, I don't think that that is like, not that it's not possible, but that animal agriculture like will never be sustainable in the world that we're in right now. So I don't know, like, I mean, I guess you can like look at the carbon footprint of Sage like before and after they made this transition or something, and like compare it and see if they're like more sustainable, because I'm assuming they're trying to go more local with their sourcing as well. But I don't know, like that idea of like, you know, you're hunting for all your meals and stuff, it's like it's a good idea in theory, and I agree with that, but it's like I don't really think you can promote that in our world, because it's like the vast majority of people, especially in LA, cannot do that. Like, you just can't do that. Like, all of the meat that people eat, for the most part, is going to come from industrial animal agriculture, which is incredibly, incredibly destructive for the environment, and that's just a fact.
So, there's multiple reasons why people go vegan. Like, what do you think is like, what do you think are like the top 3 reasons why people go vegan?
Yeah, so for me at least, I did it for environmental reasons, and I want to say like a lot of young people or like college students nowadays tend to kind of do it for the same reason. But like more historically, the reason behind going vegan has been like ethical reasons. Like people like morally disagree with the killing of animals, which I do too, but I think like the main push for me to go vegan was the environmental reason. And then the third biggest reason would be like health reasons, which is like contentious for sure, because like you can definitely still like be pretty unhealthy as a vegan, honestly. Like
really? How does that make sense? Like, you're eating plants.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of like you're sort of forced to be a little bit more healthy just because a lot of your food has to come from plants, but like you can very much still eat junk food. Like, I'm literally addicted to Oreos, you know? And it's like a lot of junk food is still vegan. Like chips, most chips are vegan, and like soda is vegan. Like, you know, there's a lot of ways to still be unhealthy. Like, being vegan cannot immediately be equated with being healthy, but it's a step, especially because I think a lot of studies are showing that like red meat is pretty bad for you. But yeah, it's contentious.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to you about this Venezuelan influencer that I don't know what his deal is. I know that he's been going like more popular recently because his whole argument is like, oh, he sees himself as a tiger. That's his whole thing, and he is fighting for Venezuelan young like teenagers to go into a different diet. But it's crazy because he advocates for people to like eat raw meat, like not eat chicken, just like raw meats or like raw foods in general, like foods with no oil. Like if you want to cook eggs, like cook them instead of using oil, you use water. Some bullshit. And it's like, bro, like he's been in interviews live on radio and TV with journalists and reporters that pull up the receipts, pull up the data, and I'm like, bro, like it is so bad for you. Like the fact that you're trying to promote raw meat is so bad. It's to a point where people don't know if it's a bit or if it's true, because isn't that like, how are you not dead? How are you not dead from eating like raw meat? How does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like people, there are always people who take things to extremes, and especially like for social media views. And like, it's probably true that all of us, consume too much oil and too much butter and stuff like that. Like, do I think you have to not consume any at all ever? No, everything in moderation. The raw meat thing, that I don't know. There's also American influencers who do that, and it's like, I don't even fucking know what to say to you. Like, that's like a whole other issue to me. I'm like, let me focus on like the normal meat eating people first, and then we can get to you guys. Like, I don't even know what to say to you.
Okay, but like, how are those people not sick? Are you supposed to get sick?
I feel like
isn't that salmonella?
No, like I feel like they're lying at least a little bit. Like you, yeah, like
there's no fucking
yeah,
way.
like you can't actually be eating raw meat like every single day and like be alive. Like there's no way, right? Like I don't know, like, and I feel like a lot of their thing is like, oh, this is the way like the ancient people used to do it. Like when we were hunter gatherers, like that's how we used to do it. We got to go back. But I honestly don't think there's like ever been a civilization in human history that's like regularly consumed raw meat. Like cooking is like a basic human invention. I don't know. Like
yeah, I don't know. I thought that was pretty goofy, but now that we're doing the podcast, this is something that I spoke to you about. I want to say like 2 weeks ago. Ever since I saw that post from Sage, I was like, it pissed me off. I was like, how dare you say that? Like I've been trying to plan this episode for the podcast for, I want to say like almost a month now. I think so. And I started doing my research, but I feel like it sounds so goofy to try to advocate for plant-based restaurants and like a plant-based diet when I'm not even plant-based myself. So I am in the process of going vegetarian, which is a pretty big step considering that I'm gonna openly say this, I'm a very picky eater. I don't think I'm that picky, but I'm not that open. So when I was doing the research, I started digging and digging and digging, and it just like enraged me. I was like, how the fuck? Like, I think it just sounds goofy that I'm like trying to fight for animal rights, and also like what are you saying? Like, it's just say that it's about the money. Just say that. Like, I would be fine with that, but I feel like it's gone to the point where I'm, like, too invested, and I'm like, well, I feel silly trying to talk about this issue and this topic while I'm still eating meat myself. I feel like it's a little selfish. So I feel like, yes, I'm kind of doing it for the plot, but I'm also doing it because I feel like it's time to grow up, and I've been eating, like a college boy since I moved out. Like, I have so much frozen food. But, I mean, most of it is, like, fruits, like frozen fruits, like acai. I'm a huge acai fan. But as being Venezuelan and being an immigrant, this is something that I've told multiple people, because I've met I've had vegetarian friends before, and they've asked me like, why don't you try it? And my first go-to to avoid the fact that I'm a picky eater, I say, well, because I'm Venezuelan and most of my food, like most of my cultural food includes like meat or dairy. So it takes me back home. Like it's the closest thing I have to being home, even when I'm not with my parents, because, well, I don't see them as often anymore. So making a Venezuelan dish or eating a Venezuelan dish at some restaurant, like it's the closest thing that I have to what I used to have back home. I think it's really beautiful, but at the same time, it's like I do take into consideration like a lot of things. Like ever since we started dating, like I feel like I'm more conscious about my choices. Especially because like I have to be so conscious about yours, because when we go out, like we obviously like we can't just go to In-N-Out. But I am gonna miss In-N-Out. It's gonna be rough because, well, is spread vegan? I don't think so. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, I think it has like mayo, probably. But what would you say are like your favorite vegan like fast food places?
Okay, well, just for the record, I have never once told her to go vegetarian.
She was holding a gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was not my decision.
No.
This is hers. But what you were saying earlier, I actually do think there's a lot of value in someone who eats meat but is trying to go plant-based and advocating for plant-based restaurants. Like I don't think it's necessarily hypocritical. Like I'll be the first to admit it's not an easy thing to do to just like go plant-based, especially cold turkey. Like that's pretty ridiculous to expect anyone to do that. So I think advocating for the things you believe in, even if you don't necessarily always do them yourself, is perfectly fine. Like as an environmental activist, it's like I will always promote things that are environmentally friendly, but like, am I completely zero waste? Like, no, I'm not. Whatever. But what was your question again? I was talking about something else.
No, you're good. My question was, what are your top 3 vegan fast food restaurants?
Okay. Well, as everyone in my life knows, I'm a veggie grill fiend, which is...
Oh, fuck off, dude.
No, it's true. I think partially because it is like the most accessible plant-based restaurant on campus. That is like a huge part of it, I will admit. And like the veggie grill rewards on the app are like so good, low-key. Like you can get lots of free stuff. But like actually I do think it's like genuinely really good. It is expensive, of course, because like all vegan restaurants are expensive, but like compared to a lot of like random places that we've tried, like Mr. Charlie's and like Heart House and stuff, like
that places so expensive.
Yeah, no, they're super expensive, and I feel like they're trying so hard to like be McDonald's or whatever that it's just like boring and like not actually very good. Like the Mr. Charlie's is like so mid, and like even Heart House is like okay, but I feel like Veggie Grill like actually like tries to like do something like interesting with their food and like make it like delicious. I don't know.
I do want to talk about Mr. Charlie's because that experience was so like ethereal.
Yeah, it was like
is that how you pronounce the word?
Ethereal.
I don't know. Yeah, so it was interesting. It was in Hollywood, right? It was after the
they have a couple locations, but we went to the one that was in Hollywood.
Yeah, so we pull up and it's literally like you would think it's an actual establishment like Heart House, but it's like this little. It's like a fucking bodega.
Yeah. Well, we did go in there like 10 minutes before they closed, but
it doesn't change the fact that it's a weird establishment.
Yeah.
Like we got in, and the vibes were just so off. Like the entire menu, yes, was based on McDonald's, and it was like the knockoff, the vegan McDonald's. And to a certain extent, like, yes, I think it's funny. Like you're attracting customers, and like, oh my god, Mrs. Charlie's, that's so funny. But the food combos were so weird, and they were also super small. Like the portions were very small. The food was questionable. As someone that's not vegan, again, I am very judgy about like meat replacements. And even when I buy you stuff and like I cook it for you, or even when you cook it, it's like I don't know how to feel about that. Like, except when it's like burgers. Or last week we tried vegan hot dogs. Plant-based like hot dogs, and they taste literally like normal hot dogs, which is so funny. But yeah, like you said, it's because hot dogs are Like sausage is just random shit.
Yeah. No, but yeah, we went there and like the fries were really good because like they're fries. They're like so easy to get, right?
Yeah.
But the food is like I don't necessarily think it was like bad or like gross. It's just like
it was mid.
It was just mid because it's like you're trying so hard to replicate something that's like already not even really that good in the first place. Like I don't know. It's like a squished little like fake McDonald's burger with like pickles and like one patty. You know, it's like there's nothing to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was tasty at all.
Yeah, like
it wasn't even.
There's no like interest or like yumminess to it. It's just like.
Yeah, I think.
I guess we were like really craving McDonald's for some reason. Then we could go there. But I don't really see any other reason why you would want to.
Yeah, and it was expensive. It was pretty expensive for what we got. I think I paid a little over $20.
Yeah, like
for both
like
of us.
More than 15 for sure. I don't remember how much.
Yeah. So I mean, at Mr. Charlie's, I'm honestly gonna give it a thumbs down. I do not support Mr. Charlie's.
Mr. Charlie's hater for life. Just kidding. I'm not really. Support small vegan businesses.
Is that a small vegan business?
I think all vegan businesses are small, low-key, except for Veggie Girl. They're like a chain. Yeah, and I'd be supporting them.
Yeah, all your money goes there.
Literally.
So, okay, definitely not Mr. Charlie's. Heart House was okay.
I think it was okay, but kind of the same problem where it's just like a very normal burger. I don't know.
It was bland.
Yeah,
it was
like
bland, but it was like not boring. It was not like trash.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I would say like I had a good meal. It was also free. Shout out Animal Welfare Alliance UCLA for giving us free coupons to our house. Like it was, you know, a decent meal and stuff, but like this is so stupid of me to say, but it's just like Veggie Girl clears. Like I'm sorry, it just does. No, I'm kidding, but like it kind of does.
Okay, but so you've only named one good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think, but like I don't know. Fuck, like that's the thing. Like I honestly don't really eat out very much, so it's kind of hard to say. Like I have all this like, you know, huge list of like vegan restaurants in LA that I really want to try because so many are closing, and I'm like I actually do genuinely want to support them before I leave LA and try all of them. But I don't know. I literally can't think of any other like fast food restaurants that.
I think fast food is hard because the restaurant that we usually go to in Santa Monica, it's obviously not fast food. It's an actual sit down.
The taco one?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one's
Tu
good.
madre?
Yeah.
Tu madre. Tu madre. Yeah, it's this. What is it? Is it like a brunch place?
Yeah, I guess it's a brunch spot. It's probably like a all-day spot too. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's so good.
It's really good. And they have like a ton of vegan options.
So good, and it's so cheap.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty cheap. Like to be in Santa Monica and to be affordable that way is like, girl, like what? I usually go and I get like a breakfast burrito. So I add tater tots, ground beef. I think it comes with either like chorizo or ground beef, and like some little like huevitos revueltos and cheese, and it's so good. And it's literally just one of them, and it fills you up. And what do you get?
They have like 8 or 9 different like vegan taco or like burrito options, and I like to get something different each time. But all of them have been really good. We've been there like 3 or 4 times, and every time has been pretty scrumptious.
Oh, what about that place in Venice? The pizza place.
The pizza place? Yeah, no. I've only been there once because they had like a 99-cent slice like deal on one day, and I got it. It was pretty good. I can't lie. It was really good. And they have a lot of like interesting flavors too.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't gone, but that's actually where I wanted to take you for your birthday, but it was like so far and it was like about to close. They closed super early. What other place? I'm trying to think. Where I took you for your birthday, it was not as expensive as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's like one of those like high-end like sort of vegan restaurants. But honestly, I don't really know if it was like worth the like hype of the high-end. Like it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like low-key when I looked at the menu, I was like, what am I gonna get? None of this like sounds that good. I mean, but what we got did end up being pretty good. But it was just
it was all right. I mean, it's not like super good.
Yeah, it was not like mind-blowingly good, but it was.
But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I can't lie.
Yeah, and it's like on Marine Del Rey. Like you literally sit outside like by the boats. It's like a very nice vibe.
By the little Trader Joe's. It was nice.
Yeah,
it was a good time for your birthday. I think. We have to go try El Cocinero. Shout out to Rona.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rona is ever since I was in high school. Like they've been going to that same spot, and you know.
Really want to try it.
Yes, it looks really good. It's a vegan Mexican restaurant in Van Nuys.
Senna Vegan. I love Senna Vegan.
Oh, Senna Vegan.
I forgot about
yes.
that. Yeah.
Oh, so fire.
Yeah, no, we try to go to these like vegan food festivals and stuff, and they also come to Smorgasburg, but they're like this. They're like a Mexican food spot, and they have like tacos and burritos and stuff, and they're really good. And their Instagram is like so mouthwatering. It's like it looks beautiful.
Did you just roll your eyes, you weirdo?
I did not. No, I didn't.
Sure,
no, but every time we like go to these food festivals, like especially the ones that are like fully vegan, like everyone there is like always like so nice, and they just want you to like try their food, and I don't know. It's like a really like wholesome like sweet moment when we go to those. I don't know. I feel like they all like know each other too, and it's like a community. I really like it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because a lot of people in LA are vegan. I want to say like a good chunk of the population is vegan. But even then, the community is so small.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because everyone knows each other. It's so funny. But so we got Senna Vegan, we got Veggie Grill. This is not like a fast food place, but Donut Front.
Yeah, I was also gonna mention that. Oh my god, they're so good. Donut Front, like you would not like I say this is like genuinely like you cannot tell that they are vegan like at all, and I'm very serious about my baked goods, so like believe me when I say they're so scrumptious. Also, this other donut shop was like giving out free donuts on campus. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's called like Holy Donut. No, I don't know. I can't remember the name. It's in Santa Monica, and like oh my god, like some of the most scrumptious donuts I had ever tried in my life, and they were vegan and they were really yummy.
I don't know why I was thinking of like the Dolly Llama.
No, it's called like Holy. So I don't know. I'm like blanking on the name. This is bad because I want to promote their business. I don't even remember what they're called.
Yeah, because so many people are gonna watch it.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go straight to UCLA.
Yes, please do.
I mean, what's going on at UCLA? What like are they still doing protests right now?
Is that the topic of this podcast?
No, but it got me thinking because is like campus shut down right now?
No, campus has never been shut down. Like it's not really possible to do that because it's an open campus. But the area around Royce was like pretty closed off. But I just saw on Instagram like a few hours ago that I think it's like opened up again. But like all of last week our classes were online because they just didn't want people coming onto campus because Monday a bunch of people got arrested. But since then there haven't been like a mass mobilization as of yet, but I think this week. Honestly, it's probably going to be like as soon as you go back in person, there's going to be a protest, and then they're going to put us back online, and like, you know, they're just going to wait until I go back in person and start like I don't know, but yeah, I will be supporting any way I can.
That's awesome. I love that for you. Mm-hmm. And we're about to close off here. So, what is a message that you would like to send to people that are looking into getting into a plant-based or vegetarian diet? Is there anything that you would like?
Oh my god.
Inspirational words.
How are we already done? How long has it been?
Don't worry about it.
It feels like we just started talking. Inspirational message for people trying to go plant-based. So was that the question?
Yeah, so the same way that you were holding a gun to my head.
Yeah.
I told you that I was going to go vegetarian.
Yeah.
That totally happened.
Yeah, it happened. I own a gun and I held it to her head. What? Okay, I think something that I think about a lot when I'm thinking of, or like, plant-based like advocates think about a lot is like culturally relevant foods. Like that's very, very important. And I think LA is one of the best places for that. Like almost any cuisine like around the world, like you can find here, but vegan, like literally like anything you can think of, you can probably find. So like take advantage of that. If like you said, like being Venezuelan like is kind of a barrier to going plant-based, which I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Like I think being Indian, it's like it's never been a thing because a lot of Indian food is already like vegetarian or vegan, but I definitely see like how for other people it's like a pretty big barrier. So, you know, if you're in LA, take advantage of that. But also, I was telling you, like, your taste buds would change really fast. Like, I know, like, a lot of people who don't really eat vegan food, or like meat replacements sound really gross. Vegan cheese, gross. Things like that, like tofu.
Yeah.
What is that? But, you know, once you like start eating that way and you eat that way for a while, like you have like a plant forward diet, like your taste buds just change to like want that. Like the cravings go away pretty fast, honestly, I would say. So just try it. Just do it. I don't know.
Just try lots of tofu. Try it multiple times.
But also, you don't be afraid to go slow. Like I said, it took me literally like 4 years to fully like transition to being vegan, and that's only because my cousin who is vegan, shout out my vegan cousin from Japan, he was like, why haven't you gone vegan? And I was like, you're so right, like let me do it. And so it was a really long journey, and I think there is a lot of value in just cutting things out, or like cutting things out like 1 day a week, or you know, whatever, instead of like trying to completely go plant-based. Because honestly, it's like if you try to do a cold turkey, you're just gonna like revert the next week, right? But if you like slowly cut things out, or like make conscious choices where you can, it helps a lot.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And support small vegan businesses like me, which I do all the time.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly.
What the fuck did you order yesterday?
I ordered a breakfast burrito. It was pretty good. Probably
so
not.
Dumb. You literally bought a breakfast burrito.
But that was frozen. It was different. And I was treating myself because I was on my period. So, and I was supporting small vegan businesses, obviously. Obviously.
Yes. I think that's a very bullshit answer, but you know, you did give a vegan business your money.
I did. Probably a little bit too much, but fuck it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I wanted to ask you this towards the beginning of the podcast, and I was thinking of, you know, like every episode that I do with a guest, I do want to ask them like a fun question, and I think we haven't personally talked about this before.
Okay.
So before you leave, what do you think is one of your beige flags?
My beige flags?
Yeah. Like, for example, my beige flag is I am not scared of call 911.
True. I thought you were going to say I'm not scared to puke, which I feel like is also kind of a beige flag.
Really? Okay, well.
It was just like a weird thing about you, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know that so many people were scared of puking. That's so...
Me. 1 year ago today, my life changed forever, but we don't have to talk about that.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other story.
No, yeah, but a lot of people are so afraid of puking.
Yeah.
It's like they try their best not to, and it's like, bro, like if I'm feeling sick, if my stomach is hurting, if I'm on my period and I have cramps, you best believe I'm gonna throw up. Like it's not like I force myself, but it's like I know that my body is trying to do it. Like I know my body's making me feel like shit. So let me just throw up really quick, and then I'm good. I'm solid. But it's not very often that I throw up. It's not like I'm a baby. But let me expand on my beige flag, because
okay.
I was thinking about that like 2 to maybe like 3 days ago. It's funny because I've called 911 at the same intersection. But like all the times that I've called 911, 2 out of 3 times that I've called have been at the same place on Santa Monica and Vine. I am not scared of calling 911 and like report an incident, or like report. Last time when I called, it was because there was like a blackout, or like a power blackout. Like there was no power in the entire block. Like that's a pretty bad intersection. And there was no power on any of the traffic lights, so people were just going at it however they wanted. I was pissing my pants. So I called 911, and you know, I reported it, and they were like, "Oh, okay, thank you. You're like the first or second person to call." And I was like, "Okay, well, it's very nice that other people call." And 2 to 3 days ago when I called, it's been super windy, so there was like a little palm tree blocking one of the lanes on Vine, and traffic was like starting to back up, and I was like, fuck, like this is horrible. Like I'm making a left turn, but if that was me, like I would be hella pissed. Like I would be road raging. So I called 911, and they were like, oh, thank you, you're the first person to report that. And I'm like, You're welcome. Like, I thought about it for a little bit. I was like, should I call? Nah, but I am not a motherfucker that's scared to call 911, especially when it's the right thing to do. So what is your beige flag?
Okay, I thought of two. I don't think either of them are very interesting, but well, I guess that's what a beige flag is.
Yeah.
The first one, it's not really, it doesn't exist anymore, but I remember like something I found really weird about me when we first started dating was that like I would carry my reusable water bottle around everywhere, but it didn't have a straw, so I would, like,
That's a good one.
drink it really weirdly, but then it has a straw now, so I don't even know how I lost a straw. Like, that's so dumb. So I guess my other one, this could be a red flag or maybe a green flag.
What?
I don't know, but I'm not a Google Calendar person. I write everything down in a physical planner.
Oh, you had to bring that up right
Yeah.
So,
Because you lied.
well, apparently, I fully believe that you use G
You've
count.
seen me write in my physical planner like all the time.
Okay, and what's your point?
Yeah.
What's your point? So she just wanted to dismantle the truth. Because in my last episode, I was talking to Emmy, and I was like, well, we use Google Calendar because she uses it for school. I like looking at Google Calendar. But I guess it's not true.
It's not true. Beating the allegations. The Google Calendar allegations.
Yeah, I mean, we still use Google Calendar regardless.
That's true.
I think it's really cute that we do. Because usually I'm the one that's adding stuff, but then you add something, it's like, what is that? What's happening that day? I have work.
What do you think is my beige flag?
I don't know. I feel like that's like something that you have to come up with. Like, I think everything about you is a green flag.
I think that in itself is a red flag.
No. Let me think. Cause I don't think you have like beige flags. It's either like green or red. But the straw one was really funny because when we started dating, can you show me your water bottle? So this is a straw. This is a straw. And it did not have a straw. For whatever reason, like this thing, it did not come with a straw.
No, it came with it.
Obviously, it came with it. You lost it.
Yeah.
Like a dumb.
Yeah.
So every time I would see her drink out of it, she would be drinking like this. And I was really confused as to why. But was it like a month of dating? Like after a month of dating, I was like, you know what? This is my gift to you. I donated one of my straws from my hedgerows that I didn't use. And I think like low-key, like you were a little offended that I gave it to you. You were like,
you thought it was. I was not. I was like, oh my god, finally, a straw. Because I wasn't about to buy a single straw replacement. I was just gonna like suffer and live. I'm assuming it is, but I wasn't gonna do that. I'm just gonna suffer.
I thought you would have like thought about just buying a new hydro in general.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
I didn't know that back then.
Yeah. This is such an interesting conversation. This is so interesting.
It is. I think it's
really
very interesting. I think people might find it interesting. So that should be it for the episode today. Thank you for joining me in this Airbnb. Filming the podcast was the reason why we came here, actually.
True it is.
Yeah, there was no other purpose to it. None at all. So what are we gonna do right now?
I don't know. What are we gonna do?
There's something on the stove.
We're gonna make donuts. We're gonna make vegan donuts. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're leaving tomorrow morning. We gotta wake up early, but it is so exciting that you're featured on season 2, episode 2 of Fill Your Life with Spice. It's so fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here, because I think I would have never expected you to be on the podcast.
Why?
You're awkward.
I'm very camera shy and not very articulate, so.
But I think you did pretty good today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Also, I think one of my favorite things about you, this is so like unrelated, is the fact that I can fully speak Spanish to you and you're gonna understand 80% of what I'm saying.
Yeah, how's that relevant?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it because I was thinking of Christopher and your environmental work in Miami, how you're saving Miami.
True. Me, single-handedly.
Yeah, not anyone else, but she's saving Miami. But is there anything that you would like to say in Spanish to take off with the podcast?
No. I'm scared. I'm shy.
Bueno, este fue todo el episodio de Fill Your Life with Spice, la segunda temporada, el episodio 2. I am very much looking forward to the next episode. I don't have a guest yet, but I have multiple topics that I would love to talk about, and maybe I'll experiment and have a solo podcast.
You should.
I'm a professional yapper.
I would listen to a solo podcast.
You listen to me yap by myself all the time already. So there's that. But
every time you call me, it's like a solo podcast.
Yeah, low key, to be honest. But now we're on our way to make vegan donuts. So we should be set for today. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Fill Your Life with Spice.